Hello, and welcome to Empower. Today's topic, we're going to cover report links, a window into your data. My name is Lee Gilmore, and I'm a senior implementation consultant here at QuickBase. I've been with QuickBase now for a couple of years, but prior to that, I was actually a customer for many years. This particular topic is important to me because as a builder and a customer, I had struggled with this topic for a while. So my goal is to save you quite a bit of time, hopefully in this 20 minutes, so that you can understand report links in their entirety. So today's key takeaways, we're going to be covering what are report links. So they're actually a field type, and we're going to get into how are they built, because report links are built automatically when you create a relationship. Now, that's something that's done for us. So we're going to cover what is done behind the scenes with QuickBase, but I also want to showcase how you can create your own report links and they don't have to be dependent on a relationship. We're also going to cover that with the report links, you can display any of your reports on your form with your report link. So all of your calendar reports, your bar charts and pie charts, Kanbans, those can all be displayed through these report links. We're also going to cover how you can reference the same report link on your form as many times as you'd like, which also means you do not have to create extra relationships to get more report links. So our next topic is, why do we want to use report links? So report links, we're going to be able to use those reports that you've already built and have them dynamically filtered based on the individual records. So that in turn creates almost like a mini dashboard for your records. So for example, you may have an employee table and you want to see the individual employees' KPI metrics, but you may already have that reporting for the company-wide objectives. So we could leverage those existing reports and have the report link dynamically filter for you when you're viewing the employee record. It's also possible to use report links to connect to data across different tables or even other applications without a relationship. So you may have someone else manages an application that shows the list of people that are being supervised by your supervisors. And you might have an app that you have a list of your supervisors, but you want to see the people that they supervise. You can use a report link to pull that data in from another application. So we'll be sure to cover all of this. And I have two applications built already to help illustrate and showcase this. One is going to be a complete app that has all the report links already built, so I can show you what's possible. And then we're going to go into the other application, which is the app where we're going to build some relationships and some report links so that we can see how to do that as well. Okay, so here we are with my completed application. This app has all of my relationships already built and my report links. So what I want to highlight is how this app looks in its current state, so that we know what we can achieve. Right now, we're looking at the app's dashboard, and we see this app has many reports on this dashboard. So one thing to think about is, if you like having many reports on your dashboard, we can simulate that with our report links on our form. Now, this particular application has a manufacturing theme. And so I'm going to talk about this products table, which is our beers table. And our beers have various production tracking, quality assurance and quality control, production issues, as well as reviews. So I'm going to go to my relationship diagram to show how these tables are connected. So here in my app management, I have my relationship diagram. and we can see here my connections and my relationships. So our product table has one or many reviews. So we have a parent and child relationship, similarly to the production tracking and the QA/QC. We also have this indirect relationship between our product table and our production issues. So for each product, we can have one or many QA/QC processes, and each of those processes may have a production issue. We have not directly connected these two tables together, but we are passing information down from here, and it's possible to pass that information down here. So we could build a report link so we can see all of the production issues up here on the product table. So I will showcase how I've done that. We're going to go into our product table now. And in this product table, I have my various products, and I'm going to go to this particular one because I have a lot of sample data for this. And in doing so, I can see my normal records fields all displayed here. And then down below, I've built some tabs to group together my reports. Now, these reports are being displayed through my report links. Often, when you build table-to-table relationships, QuickBase is automatically adding an embedded table report for you. And I'll showcase that here in just a moment. But right now, I want to go through here because these are each of those child tables that we just discussed. And so we're right now on the reviews table, seeing two different reports. If I click on my productions tab, I actually have three separate reports here. I have a timeline report that's showing all of the different production stages for my product. I also have a list table report to show more data about that particular production cycle, as well as I have here my calendar report. And this calendar report is displaying the same information above with the end dates so I can see when each of those production cycles is set to end. So this is three separate reports, but all from the same table being displayed all in the same record. And they're being dynamically filtered based off of that report link. I'm only seeing the production data specific to this product. I also have over here on my quality checks, I have my QA/QC procedures, but down below, this is the information, this production issues. This is that grandchild table that's not directly connected. I was able to bring in a bar chart as well as a table list report. And that's through a report link I built myself. So now I'm going to dive into the settings for this table to showcase how the table-to-table relationship built the report link by default that we leveraged in these other tabs, as well as how I created my own report link field to display these two reports. So I'm going here to my settings for this table, and I'm looking at my table-to-table relationships. When I click here, I can see the three relationships where my product table is the parent to these three child tables. So by default, when you create a new relationship, QuickBase is doing several things behind the scenes. It's taking your key field and it's creating a reference field to link the two bits of data, as well as it's automatically building a report link and naming it the plural version of your table name. So my review table gets a report link field on the parent table called reviews. It also adds an add button, and it also creates what's called an embedded report by default. So I'm going to exit my settings here, and I'm going to go to my form settings. And here I can see that when I built my relationship, it put this here, number 12, my report link, and it checked this alternate label text, and it checked this radial, and it selected this report, this embedded report. However, you don't have to use the default. You can choose any of your existing reports. You can also reference it more than once. So here on line 13, I'm actually doing the same thing, but I'm showcasing this bar chart. So I have both a table report and a bar chart shown side by side. Down below, my other embedded reports for my productions, I have a report link that's showing my timeline, my Gantt report. I'm also showing my other productions, which is showing my table report. And then this productions report link is showcasing my calendar report. So I have a timeline, a table, and a calendar all on the same form. And these are all the same report link. So for example, you can insert and select the same report link many times. I'm going to go to my fields to show you how many report links I truly have. I'm going to leave. And I'm clicking on my fields. So here, I'm going to use this filter to sort by just my report links. And I only have one for the productions, one for the quality checks, and one for the reviews. And you see these blue arrows and this relationship icon here to help illustrate they were built using my relationship. Now, this particular one here, this issues report link, I've built myself, and it does not have a relationship. It's not dependent on a relationship. So we're going to go into my other application to show how we can build our own report link, as well as we're going to build a couple of relationships so that we can see how QuickBase automatically creates the report link and how it adds that to our forms for us. So I'm now in my copy application, and I'm going to increase my, there we go. So this is a similar application, but it does not have the relationships that we previously had to this product table. So I'm going to go into my settings and my table-to-table relationships. And I'm missing those 3 relationships to those child tables. Now, I've also done one other thing, which is all the data is still there. So all that sample data, when I go into my production tracking, I still have those records. And I have with it the values that I previously had, such as I have the product name. And in this particular table, I've changed the key field to the product name. So because I have the names in this table and I have the names in this table, I can make a direct connection or a relationship between that. And the same goes for these other tables. So I'm going to go back to this parent table. I'm going to go to my settings, and I'm going to go to my table-to-table relationships. I'm going to build a brand new relationship to my reviews. And this is my parent table. This will be my child. So when I create that, QuickBase is showcasing what my key field is. And this is by default a value or a new field that it wants to create, but I already have the existing data that I want to connect to. So I'm changing the reference field. So now when it finds the same value here as this field down below on the reviews, it's going to connect my data. And I'm not going to bring any lookup fields for this example. It's not necessary. So I'm going to go ahead and create my relationship. And the reason we're building this relationship is I want to show you that it didn't exist before, but now when we open it up, we have a new report link. We also have that add URL formula. And what happened also is this report link was added to our form. So I'm going to exit the settings. I'm going to go into one of my records, and I'm going to customize this form to show you. But first, what happens by default is it usually adds it to the end of the form. So when I click on this quality checks tab, QuickBase added this reviews section, the add button, as well as this table report. Now, I'm going to go ahead and customize my form because I want to put it actually where I want it, which is under my reviews section. So I'm going to take this information and I'm going to move it up. And so here we have my reviews tab, and now we have my reviews report link. Now again, QuickBase built this embedded report for me by default. It may not be what I want to display. I can either change the settings for that report, or I can open up and I can find a new one. And I want to show, this is that bar chart. Actually, no, that's not the bar chart. My bar chart was as reviews come in. And I also want to add that same report link again. And in doing so, I want it to look similar. So I'm going to check this checkbox, use the alternate label text so that it doesn't show reviews next to the report. And then I'm also going to click this radial so that I can select which report I want to show. And I want to say it was current reviews, was the table report. And I moved it up, and I'm checking this so that they're side by side. So when I hit save, this little message pops up and just lets us know that, hey, you've used this more than once, which is fine. We actually wanted to. So we're going to say, okay. So now on our form, we should see under the reviews tab, we have a report here and a report here. So that's great. But now I want to make sure that I bring in my other reports because my productions isn't there and my quality checks are not there. So we're going to go back to our settings. We're going to go to our table-to-table relationships. We're going to create another relationship. And I want to go to my production tracking because my production tracking had those 3 reports that I really like displaying. It was my calendar, my timeline. And so again, we're choosing to connect that, the name. And now when we create a relationship, just to highlight, back in this new relationship, we have our productions report link. And I'm going to exit the settings here, and I'm going to quickly go over to our production tracking table to showcase our list of reports. So under this reports and charts, we have this brewing timeline and the stages, as well as this list all report. So I might be using these 3 reports on that form. So I've only had to build them once. I didn't have to build them individually for each product. So that's where we're using the dynamic element of the report link to filter for us. So going back to our product table, I'm going to open up a record, and I'm going to customize this form. And down at the bottom is where QuickBase by default put our production. So this is that section header, the add button, and the report link. So I'm going to bring that up to our production section. I'm going to get rid of the section header because I have my tab. And this productions here is showing that embedded report that was created. But I want to show other production reports. I want to show my stages, and I'm going to insert and select it again to show my timeline. Hit save. And again, I'm using multiple instances of that same report link, which is fine. So now I'm going to click on my Productions tab, and I have my list report. That's that embedded. This is the timeline, and this is my calendar report. So now I have 3 different reports from one table, all centered around this particular product. So going back to my home, my dashboard, I'm going to then go to my application settings so that I can go view my relationship diagram one more time. Because again, I want to highlight how we can connect data across the way that may not even be directly connected. So right now, our product is directly connected to this production tracking, but we do not have a link to our production issues. But again, my sample data still exists. So I still have the product name down on this table. So we're going to build a report link that says, when you find the same product name here as you do down here, let's display all of those records. And I'm just going to showcase in that production issues table, again, so that you see how we're connecting it. We have that name here. So we have 3 records here, actually 4 with the name Thunderfunk, 5 actually. So we're hopefully going to see 5 records in a report when we connect it over here. So going back to my product table, I'm going to go to my settings, and I'm going to go ahead and create a new field here in my fields. Again, I'm going to showcase by searching for my report link. We only have these 2, and they're both associated to a relationship. But when I build a new field, I'm going to select the type as report link. I'm going to name this issue. I think that was the name that we had in our original app. So I have it, but I haven't set the settings to make this work yet. So when I click on this new report link, I have to select what our matching criteria is. So I need to match something on this table here, my product table. So I have my name, which is both my unique identifier, but also the values that we have on that grandchild table. So now I want to select the target. And this little pop-up window comes up to showcase all the apps I have access to. Because again, we can connect across any app that you have the proper security clearance for. So I want to use the same app that we're working with. And so I select it. And now I have another pop-up that shows me all of the different fields I can possibly use to try to match. So this is my parent table, our grandparent table. I want to scroll down and find our production issues table. And the thing that needs to match is the name. So this name, when it matches this name, we're going to see that information through our report link. So I'm going to hit OK. Got the 2 criteria, and I'm saying that it needs to match identically. So we're going to save. And now I want to go to my form again, because QuickBase added it to the bottom of the form. But we want to customize it. We want to make sure we show the right reports. So down below in my production issues section header, it added the issues to the bottom. But again, we want to change that label text. And I won't, just to show you what it does otherwise. But we do need to click that other radial so that we can pick. And I want to do my funnel report. I'm going to select another. And I want to select my issues over time. And I want to select my embedded for, actually, I'm going to use my list all. So I'm going to hit save. Yep, we're using those multiple times, which is okay. And now when we go view a record, we're going to go back to that Thunderfunk at the bottom here. And so when I look at my tabs here, my quality checks, I have my funnel chart, my bar chart, as well as my table report. And then here I have my 5 different records. So we know that's working. It's only pulling up the same values as it matches with the name here, because this was our identifier that we linked it to. So these 3 reports are all coming in through that report link we just built. And again, cosmetically, this issues is the field name and is displaying there on the right-hand side. When we customize our form, we can see down below that it's because we did not use our alternate label text. So it's just a cosmetic aspect. When I save and we scroll back down, now we do not see that listing of issues next to the report. That's why we left it blank. So I'm going back to my finalized app to show you one more time in which our records, as we have them, this particular one here, endless rays, has different data on the reports because it's filtering for only the values that match endless rays. So these reviews are only for this particular beer, as well as this bar chart. Same with our quality checks. When we go down here, we only have the one, which was a contamination because there was a foreign object. And so that bar chart is different than, let's say, the Thunderfunk, which when we go visit that record, here we see it has a different set of reviews, as well as in the quality checks, it has 5 different values. So there's more to showcase on that bar chart. So we covered the why for report links, because ultimately we want to be able to display all of that information from your application to make it much more consumable. So think of report links again. You can open a window into your data. Thank you very much for your time. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Empower.